What you do to your camera, bro?
I don't know. I use it too much for my other, channel.
His, his online camming.
Your online pole dancing, Jeff.
Hi, I'm Omega Rex W.
Hi, I'm Neil.
Hey, my name is Chris.
Hey, I'm Mark.
Hi, I'm Melvin.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Wang. Team Ayoko.
Hi guys, welcome to Team Ayoko's 4th episode. We have Victor, and he is the owner of 2 places, Urban Leaf Cafe and Victor's Xclusive Auto.
BX Auto, it doesn't matter.
And he's joined us to answer a few questions regarding how COVID-19 has affected those businesses. How are the businesses running currently?
Currently, what is it? We're almost like 3 months in now.
Yeah.
Things are a little bit better in terms of the cafe. It was a little bit easier to adapt from like dine-in to takeout because we just before this whole thing started, happening, we had already just signed up for like Uber Eats and DoorDash, and we started getting accustomed to that already. So it was an easy transition for that, and we were also blessed to be able to stay open technically. In terms of the shop took a very big hit, and it wasn't just me, honestly, because actually a few of my other friends have a few other shops, and they all called me, and saying the same thing, that they were completely dead, and they're usually very, very busy. And a few of them told me, like, you know what, I might have to close, for the next few months, because it's pointless, because they have a lot of people on payroll that are getting paid a lot of money, and they can't afford it.
Of course.
But it's definitely a difficult situation. Even though it's like things are a little bit better now, they're definitely nowhere close to how it was before. I'm just barely breaking even, and that's me like working till 2:00 just to make ends meet, for the shop. But it is not a fun time at all. And I have other friends that have other businesses and that aren't allowed to be open. And I feel horrible for them because they put their entire lives into that stuff. Like my other friend that owns a gym, I also, I ended up I did a lot of stuff for him in terms of like logo wise. He spent, the past few years and everything that he had to open these gyms, and he was doing great. And now, all the savings he has is gone, and there's nothing, there's no guidelines or protocols. So, that's why I was saying I'm definitely blessed to have been able to stay open regardless and make whatever I can make, because that'll at least mitigate how much I'm losing.
Yeah.
If I was to say that, I made out on this, definitely not. We're definitely just scraping it.
Yeah, Ryan was asking if you had any government aid.
No.
Nothing significant.
You want to know what I got? I got a whopping $36 in my account.
Jeez.
So, and I'm not going to apply, luckily I've been able to also save over the years. I have enough to, hold off for a little bit, but we've been working really, really hard, make it where we don't lose that much monthly. It's only been a few months, so it's really not horrible. But I know there's a lot of other businesses that, rely on the month, like, the week to week or the month to month, just to make things work. A lot of people aren't as fortunate enough to be able to like have a few months, like 6 months or a year, savings to keep the business afloat.
Right.
Especially a lot of like newly open places.
So like, obviously for your shop, if you have no cars coming in, that's going to be one thing. But as far as your cafe goes, like, what was the toughest part during this entire thing?
The toughest part about that was the amount of extra work I had to take on and balancing. If I didn't have my fiance, if I didn't have Michelle helping me, I don't think I would have made it, because just balancing between the two, from fixing cars to, spending the entire day at the cafe trying to like keep up with the customers, because it wasn't a point that I didn't have enough that I didn't want the workers or I couldn't pay them. It's that I gave everyone the choice of, if they wanted to come in or if they wanted to work, because it's up to them, if they were comfortable coming in. And obviously a lot of them just didn't feel comfortable.
Right.
So we were left with maybe one or two people, if that, and myself and Michelle. So it's really difficult in that sense. Like, that's why I was run down a lot more, because I would legitimately be in like shop clothes, and then all of a sudden I'd have to run over to the cafe and then run back to the shop. That was the toughest part.
At least they're close by, to be able to.
That's definitely a plus.
How scary or concerned were you about the spam shortage for that short period of time?
Yeah, those are fast.
Actually, it switches from like week to week. Like originally it was just like, oh crap, we're not gonna be able to serve this because there's none.
Yeah.
But as we were like, we'll just take it day by day and week by week and see how it goes. And luckily things came back. We were Michelle was able to get access to it, and so far we've been okay.
That's good.
But like every week so far it's changed. Like, we're gonna run out of, all of a sudden there's nothing. There's a few supplies that we need that aren't there, and we're running very low. And sometimes we actually have to take it off the menu because it's not available. And that's another difficult part, is keeping inventory up.
So is that also, you have to manage that in all of the delivery and ordering services, right, too?
Yeah, that's the other part. So as soon as we don't know, we have to change it on everything.
Is it easy though?
It's tedious. I don't doubt that we're going to get through this, because we've actually gotten used to how it is, and we sort of, I'm not going to lie, sort of like the takeout idea, because at night we actually don't have to clean front of house as much. Wiping all the tables and chairs down.
That's true.
Just adds so much more.
Well, when I passed by yesterday, somebody was sweeping up the floor though, so I was like,
yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm more of like a germaphobe. From even before all this, I've been a germaphobe. So it's the cleanliness factor is always there, and that's something that we take pride in. So it's really no different. It's just that there's less to clean up front. We still like sweep and mop because a lot of people bring in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, you don't know what. You don't know what.
But it's funny. The other day, we had a customer come in, and they came in. They said, "This is the first time we've been out in 3 months." They handed my worker cash. And they're like, "Oh, it's cash." And I said, "Yeah, there's no problem." And then, of course, what happens after you touch cash? You got to wash your hands.
Yeah.
Right. And that's normal. That is the norm. That is how things are. Even before all this, like, you touch cash, you got to wash your hands before you touch anything else.
Yeah.
So she washes her hands, and the person asks, like, "So is that what they do now? Like, you have to wash your hands after you touch cash?" And I was just like, and we all, it was just like, are you seriously asking this? Like, and that's why, like, I'm like, wow, this is pretty gross. No wonder why it got so bad, because people don't know like normal hygiene.
Yeah. No, but especially that you're in a cafe working with consumption, like, food. Of course, after you touch cash that has been touched by who knows how many people or where it's been, you're gonna have to wash your hands before you touch anything else.
Yeah, it might be tough. Ryan's polls and all his customers.
Ryan's polls.
I don't know if that's been in Ryan's, like, Magic Mike underwear. I don't know, man.
No, but your shop's doing well, right? The other day I was there, and you said you had like 30 people booked for work.
Yeah, so for that one day, I ended up scheduling almost 30 people. Obviously, there's no way we were going to finish all 30 in one day between like 2 or 3 people. But just happy to be able to have like that amount of cars and customers and business, from maybe being able to work on, we'll be lucky if we got 1 car that day or 2 cars that day. We were so used to having at least 10 cars every day, and then just to nothing. It was really difficult.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But it was also scary too because every customer that came in at like the peak, it's still going on, but I always have to ask before they come in, and when I schedule them, hey, like, who have you been in contact with? Are you sick? Have you been sick? Where do you work? Stuff like that. Just because if they do, then I have to tell them, hey, if you're gonna bring it, you gotta drop it off. Don't step inside, and please, like, sanitize or clean your car. At least what I'm gonna touch. And then if they don't, I just tell them, hey, drop the car off, leave the windows down, and leave the key in the car, and then I'll take it once it's aired out. It still freaks me out every time I get in, and have to work on a car.
I didn't even think about that part of it, actually.
Yeah, we try our best not to be in there for too long. And when people go, hey, can you go on a test drive with me? I was like, no, I can test drive it, but you can't be in the car. There's things that make it really difficult still. The whole mask thing, it's a little difficult. So people come in with their masks, and I definitely appreciate that 100% because I need them to wear a mask. Some people question, like, oh, why aren't you wearing masks? I was like, you try, crawling underneath, a piping hot engine, an engine bay that's piping hot, and try breathing all that in, for 12 to 14 hours a day. I don't think you're going to be able to last. I got to think and figure out and diagnose some of your stuff. So I sort of need brain function for that, and I need some oxygen.
Yeah. Do you have any like nightmare stories of any, like, even at any of your establishments of just a crazy customer?
I actually have one story. I actually have it on video because I have cameras that people think, people don't think that I have cameras in there, but I do.
Yeah.
So I had a new customer come in. They ended up waiting for, I think it was breaks, a family of like 5. Right? And they waited. They had this. They stayed in the waiting room. Mm-hmm. And in the waiting room, I had a glass coffee table, right? And so they had his mother, father, and 3 kids. And I'm in my office. You know how my setup is at the shop, right? There's a waiting room, and then I have my desk inside the shop.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at the desk. They're waiting. I'm seeing the car. It's almost done. I'm typing up something for the books, and then all of a sudden, all I hear is like a large crash, and I was just like, "What the? What just happened?" And I jetted, and I got in, and I see one of the children standing in front of the coffee table, and the glass is completely shattered all over the place. And there's no words that came out of the father's mouth, and he's just pointing at his child and like basically saying, "Oh, it was my child. It was my child. My child did that." And I'm like, well, I was like, first thing I was like, "Is everyone okay?" And then they were just like, "Yeah, everyone's okay." And then I go, "Well, what happened?" And then no words came out, and they were just like, they were like, "Oh," he kept pointing at his child in shock. I'm like, "Oh man, the child must have like hit it with a toy or something." I'm like, "Oh crap!" And then they start trying to pick up the glass. Like, no, just step away. And I kept worrying. So go through this whole entire thing. Crash. I tried cleaning everything up. He keeps insisting that to touch the glass. I go, "No, because I don't want you to cut yourselves. Just keep." And the other kid is just still running around. I was like, "Can you guys get your kids together real quick, please?" There's glass everywhere, and it's like it's not safe. Anyway, at the end of it, like, I'm vacuuming. I end up breaking the vacuum because it picked up too much glass.
Oh man.
I had to go, run out and get a new vacuum, and I told them to wait outside. So I picked up all the big pieces, and they still didn't tell me what happened. I end up going to Home Depot to get a new vacuum, and I'm with one of my guys, and I'm looking through the cameras to try and figure out. And the guy is trying to tell me that he doesn't want to pay for the repair because, his whatever, some sort of thing because, son could have gotten hurt, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, "Excuse me?" So I'm looking through the camera, and I see what the guy does. The kid's nowhere to be seen around the glass table. And he ends up like he's talking to his wife, and he's trying to mess with my AC. Like, I have an AC unit in there. He's trying to mess with the AC unit, ends up messing with it. And then I don't know how smart you are to think it's okay to sit on the glass table.
No comment.
He legit, and this guy's not small. He's probably at least 6 feet tall and at least 200 and something pounds, right? He sits on the glass table and he goes through the glass table. And I'm just like, oh my God, did I just watch that? I was like, I'm surprised he's not cut. And then he gets up and like I just get in and he gets up and he just points at his son and I'm just like, oh my God. Wow, so that's what happened. And this guy has no clue I have a camera facing him. They're trying not to pay. And then I called my guys, like, don't let them leave. Tell them that they not only do have to pay for the repair, they have to pay for my glass table. And he was and that since I wasn't there and I didn't tell him that there was a camera, he was yelling at my other guy, telling him, oh, I'm not gonna pay, blah blah blah. Making up a lie. And then my guy is on the phone. He goes, well, my boss just looked at the cameras and saw what happened. And the guy instantly shut up.
I wish that part was on video. That would have been funny.
He instantly shut up. And he was just like, he changed his tone of voice. And he goes, just give me the bill.
Wow.
Caught red-handed. Wow.
Yeah, but I don't know what type. You got to be a special type of person to blame your son.
He's gonna blame his kid. At least pay for it.
Just to let you know, they never came back, and I never got my money for the glass table. So
no,
because I tried calling them.
That's crazy.
But it's okay. I mean, that's why if you ever come to the shop, there's no more glass table or center. It's just those stools in the middle. I was just like, maybe I shouldn't put another coffee table there.
No, it's not worth it.
No.
So back to your cafe. What is like the highest selling item you had before, and what is it now during this whole thing?
It actually has not changed.
What is
everything? I mean, the top selling item keeps changing from week to week. It just depends on people's moods. So it can be from the taro bubble tea to our ube Oreo, and then back to the waffles, where we'll have like a full day, full day of like straight up spam nori bowls and spam, or I'll have like an order of like 10 spam nori bowls, and special request to drive it to like White House Station or something. Like I don't know what town that is.
What's that? It's ridiculous.
No, but yeah, it switches up. It switches up from time to time, and there's actually like no real like number one.
No, that ube Oreo is money, bro.
Yeah, man, that was like.
I ever had it. It was.
I was gonna pick it up yesterday. I was gonna get the green tea Oreo, but you guys closed up on it.
You could have just came to the door, man.
I'm good. No, like I said the same thing. I was like, you probably let me in if I just showed my face, but if I knew that you guys were cleaning up, so I didn't want you to make one just because I was there.
No, it's okay.
I figured I just.
No, it was just, it's funny. People don't read, and I appreciate the people that do. So from all the times that we put signs up, or every time we make a post or something, it can, and even just the menu, people just don't read. When we first put up the sign, like, hey, because it was, state or town regulated that we had to put everyone that enters the facility has to wear a mask. People, I had multiple signs up on the doors, and people just came in, no mask. And I had to be like, excuse me, got to put a mask on, blah, blah. It's like, oh, they just don't read. And there's this one time, 2 girls walked in, and they looked at, the big board menu.
Yeah.
They stood there, and I asked them, hey, is there anything that you want? Or, can I help you with something? She goes, no, it's okay. And they look at the menu. They're there staring. Not a single word is said. Staring for about 5 minutes. At the time, we didn't have like matcha lattes or anything. There's nothing matcha on the board. But after 5 minutes, she goes, okay, I'm ready. I go, okay, what can I get for you? She goes, I'd like to have a matcha latte. I'm just like, and I stopped for a second. I had to peek over the counter, and I had to look at the board again because I didn't know if Michelle accidentally added matcha latte to our menu and didn't tell me. So I looked at the board. And I'm just like, what? We don't have a matcha latte. And like in my head, I'm trying to comprehend. I was like, what you were looking at for 5 minutes. Just staring. I was like, wow. And they ended up not getting anything because I didn't have the matcha latte. But it just goes to show that people don't read.
Even though they're staring at a thing the entire time. Wow. No, I saw the closed sign when I pulled into the parking lot. I was like, no, I'll leave them alone.
You're going back to that. That's right. People don't read. So like, I'll have the closed sign up, curtains closed and everything, but people will still walk in. So that's why I do that. I was like, you know what? They don't read anyway. People are still going to walk in. So I was expecting like people to just walk up to the door.
Read, people.
Oh my God.
How do you guys enforce like 6 feet, like when falling in line now?
So we have waiting chairs technically, and we have those spread out. So they go from one side of the room to the opposite side of the room, and then they're spread out like lengthwise as well, going all the way back towards the entrance. And we have no tables, and then we also have we also have tables. The tables that we used to have in the dining room, we stack those in front of the counter. So that like the customers are, everyone technically follows that by themselves, which is pretty good. Except for the few groups of teenagers that come in, they stay in their little group. And then like the other people will usually like if that group of teenagers doesn't apply their 6 foot distance thing, the other people that walk in, they make sure they stay far away from them.
Okay. Self-governed. That's good.
Yeah, for the most part. I haven't had to step in and tell anybody, hey, you guys got to keep your distance or you guys got to wait. We try and move pretty quickly on most of the orders so that they're in and out. And usually we tell them it's going to take a long time. And if they want, they can wait outside so that they're not like, staying in an enclosed space.
Have you thought about doing like you order and then you bring it to their car type of thing, or?
Yeah, some people call us and tell us to do that. So what they'll do is they'll order for pickup, and they said they'll give us the payment over the phone.
Yeah.
And they said if they, once they get here, they'll call and we can bring it out to them. So they get curbside pickup. We do that. We do that when they ask for it. But typically, most of them come in, pick it up, and then just leave. Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you remember that time? Was that LBI that we ended up driving in your car and you got, I forgot what it was, but you got angry at somebody and you just held your horn for like 5 minutes straight?
Yeah.
Was that LPI?
That
was Wildwood. Wildwood.
Yeah. Oh, it was?
Yeah, slow merging and then honking.
Yeah.
Well, just to let you know, like this is Chris, the most calm, not angry, not aggressive type person, and I'm in the passenger seat, and he's just like says nothing, except he just holds his horn, and I didn't know how long he was gonna hold it, but he just kept holding it, and it was a really long time, and I couldn't help but break out into laughter because it was just like, wow, this is new for me.
Good times.
Yeah, that was a good trip too. Yeah, we definitely need to do something again. That was, guys, if you think about it, that was what, almost over 10 years ago.
Well, Ryan's post was it 12 years?
12 years was LBI.
Yeah.
12 years was LBI, which means Wildwood was even
Further.
Yeah. Because that was before LBI.
Yeah. So for everybody out there, like we've known Victor since we were young teenagers.
Yeah.
I was like 13, I think, when I first met you or something like that.
Dude, we're old.
Bro.
Yeah.
We've almost known you for 20 years, man.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So just coming as a business owner, or in your perspective, what were some of the key components that you utilize to make yourself successful? Because I mean, obviously you have 2 businesses and they're both very successful. Like in your mindset, like what can you tell future possible business owners, like the key to success? How did you become such a successful business owner?
Was not listening to what everyone said. Because if I listened to what everyone said and their opinions, then I wouldn't have done a lot of the stuff I would have done. Because, it was actually just it was just opposing what, I felt. I felt something that was right, and I felt that it was something I wanted to do. But if I listened to the rest of my family, the other friends saying that, it wasn't, you shouldn't do this, or well, then I wouldn't have, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I listened to them. I would have been in a worse position, honestly. And it was just having, pretty much just having the balls to do it, because, I had, a lot of people I spoke to a lot of people, and when I opened up each business, a lot of people like, oh, I had that idea, I wanted to do that, I was thinking about doing that, and I was like, that's great that you had the same thought, but you didn't do it, and that's been the main difference that I've seen a lot, like with a lot of my other successful friends too, is just, they ended up just doing it, instead of just thinking about it and saying that I should, it's just doing it. And there's like, there's a lot of, don't get me wrong, I also was, each time I start something, I'm like, well, I have the same fears, worries, and thoughts that everyone else does. It's just whether or not you jump in and do it. And you'll never know how it turns out unless you do. And you can prepare, you can try and prepare for it and stuff like that, but you're always going to find something new and learn something new. And, I'm not gonna lie, I've attempted several different businesses that definitely didn't go according to plan and have failed. And regardless of how much I lost in each of those, each one was like a learning experience, and it never really deterred me from moving forward or trying something again. It just made me want to, do it better or try again.
No, that's like mad respectable. The fact that you were able to just go all in up front, because we've been trying to talk about something even just within our group, and we're like, what can we do? And we never really 100% pulled the trigger on any major thing. It's always like minimal things. And the fact that, you did it not once, but twice is just like, I can't give you enough respect.
No, yeah. What you don't see is like Victor is like the definition of like like every success story, you don't see like the failures. Like
Yeah.
I remember like the failed businesses and how much he invested in those things, and like all the other past things that he's gone through. It's like he's been through a lot. It's not like overnight success, and that's like mad respect.
So
You're
it's
definitely one
definitely
of the
not a
hardest
clear
working
cut, easy road to where you got. It's not just like, hey, I opened up a business and boom, it was just successful. No, there's like things in between, and even in the past where you're just like, all right, it didn't work. Let me try the next one. Nope, it didn't work again. But the thing that's impressive is that you didn't let that discourage you or deter you from not trying something else. Like you were able to find your niche and you were able to stick with it and you became successful at it. And I know a lot of people, if they get discouraged if just a little, like just like any type of failure, anything that doesn't work for them or towards what they're trying to do, it discourages them, and essentially they end up failing, and then they just kind of give up. They don't try again.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people like that.
I've had those feelings like, oh, maybe I should just stop, but you got to fight it. I ended up wanting to keep going because like I had like a vision and I saw that it can work. It's just what I had done wasn't either at the right time, the right point, or whatever. Because this whole bubble tea, like the cafe, I think what you were referring to, Chris, was my yeah. That was I tried doing this already, like when I was fresh out of high school, I think it was, and I jumped in. I just was definitely not prepared. And one of the life lessons that business has taught me is not to have is typically not to have partners. But if you do, make sure you know them. And there's a fine line. There's a lot of stuff that you have to have the line drawn for each person. At that point, I didn't, and I lost a lot of money. I also lost a lot of face in front of people because I had promoted it so much, and then I fell right on my face. I didn't even open, and I had spent close to 30 grand. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And that, especially at that time with, just being out of high school, I lost a lot of money.
But look at you now.
I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes even now. I continue to make mistakes, and you just keep moving.
As long as you learn from them, man. That's all it is.
Let me know if you guys want to start something. I'm down.
Yeah, you were, I think, the brain that we would need to pick, to be honest with you.
I absolutely agree, 100%.
Because we're all people that are working like corporate world kind of situation where we do talk a lot. And again, all these ideas, like you're saying, you know, you have these ideas, but unless you have the balls or the wherewithal to actually pull the trigger on any of it, and the fact that you've been through it all, lessons learned from multiple aspects, you know, business-wise and just personally, again, in two totally different industries. If we actually had a legitimate idea, I think you'd be one of the first people we'd hit up.
Oh, Chris actually had an idea though today.
What's that?
It's virtual babysitting. So let's get that started, guys.
All right.
Write it up, bro. Oh no, but like we really appreciate your time, bro. And sharing all your stories and, you know, everything. Just really appreciate it. You know, you've been a good friend of ours for such a long time, so we figured we'd be able to not only, you know, help with promoting you to whoever may end up watching this, but, you know, letting your word be heard out there.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for having me. And likewise, you guys have definitely been a huge factor in my life as well. Honestly, if it wasn't for you guys were actually one of my driving factors for opening up the shop. Just to let you guys know that. So.
Us?
Our Camrys, man. Our Camrys.
Yeah. Dude, I'm serious.
Thanks, Victor, for fixing our cars.
100%. You guys are definitely, you guys definitely played a major role in that. So.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that you were a special person when we were all hanging out at Ryan's house and you ran from your house with a backpack full of rocks. That's all you can afford to work out.
That's dedication, man.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Like, wait, he's gonna run from his house all the way here, dude? And then you showed up like, somebody has to drive this poor man home, man. This is not right.
Dude, that hill was gruesome.
It is, dude. That's like half a mile.
I remember that, and I told myself when I got back to Ryan's house, like, I'm never gonna do that again.
How long was that trip, that run?
It actually wasn't, because I was a runner back then, so it probably took me about 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah, with a bag of rocks.
Dude, that's intense. Wow.
Like on his back, meaning as he's running, the rocks are hitting him in the back.
Yeah, I had that on my back, and I had ankle weights and
that's right,
wrist weights. I remember.
Oh God!
Now look at him now.
Yeah, you're the most in shape out of all of us. Maybe Neil might have you on cardio, but you know.
Yeah, he definitely has me on cardio.
I don't know about that. I mean, Saturday didn't seem like it. He seemed fine. I was the one that was winded. Ryan was on the floor, almost passing out.
It sounded like Ryan died. I
died, dude. I was dead. I was on the floor majority of the time, dude.
It was nice catching up, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Well done.
Oh yeah, we gotta do the fist bump.
Is this our like official ending?
No, I'm gonna probably change. Oh.
Whoa.
Wait, Neil, bring your hands in a little bit more. Boom.
This is so
All
hard.
right, we're good.
You sure?
Yeah.
All
you
right.
might have messed it up, Ryan, but I'll fix it. I'll figure it out.
All right, Victor.
All right, take care, guys.
All right, Victor.
Bye,
guys.
Later.